There are a lot of good reasons for getting patent searches performed, but that's for a different video. In this video, I want to talk about 5 reasons why patent searches might not be a great idea, and in some cases could really mess up your company. Hi, my name is Carr Ferrell. I'm a Silicon Valley patent and intellectual property attorney. Welcome back to my channel. The first reason you may not want to get a patent search done is that there just may not be enough time. I received a call this morning from an inventor who is appearing on a television show in a couple of days, and she wants to get a patent application on file for her invention before the show because she's going to talk about the invention. While it's possible to get the patent application prepared and filed, there just isn't time to get a patent search performed and analyzed and get the patent application on file prior to her public disclosure. In her case, the priority is to get the invention written down on paper and submitted as an application, and we can worry about the patent search later. There are lots of circumstances where we just need to get the patent application filed quickly and don't have the time to do the searching. Examples might be meetings with vendors or investors, or a trade show may have snuck up on you and you just didn't get the patent application filed in time. And another circumstance for a rush patent application might be when there's just a big breakthrough and you want to get the invention protected before the discovery leaks out. A second reason you may not want to get a patent search right away is that there just isn't budget to do both a patent search and to get your patent applications on file. For example, I had a company come to me a few weeks ago and say, "Hey John, we're pitching the Band of Angels next week, raising money, seed money for our new startup. We know we need to get some patent applications on file, not only to protect the technology, but also to demonstrate that we actually have something that's protectable. Unfortunately, we don't have enough money right now to get both patent searches done and to file the patent applications. So what do we do?" In this case, the most important thing to do is to get the patent applications on file. The patent searches can be performed later. In fact, when you file a non-provisional patent application, a utility patent application, the patent office performs a patent search for you. Part of your patent application filing fee is designated for a patent search by the patent examiner. Now, it's important to note that this doesn't happen with a provisional patent application. This is only a non-provisional utility application. Provisional patent applications do not get examined, and so you're not going to get a patent search performed by the patent office on a provisional patent application. On a utility application, when the patent office performs its search, the examiner is going to give you feedback on other patents, prior art that it has found related to your invention. Something to consider when filing rush patent applications in the patent office is that the examiner may find prior art patents or prior art documents that could invalidate the claims that we filed. This creates a challenge because time will have passed between the time that we file the rushed application to the time that the examiner finally picks it up and begins to examine it. Maybe a year or more will have gone by. It may be too late at this point to add new material to the patent application in order to avoid the prior art that's been discovered. So that when you do file a rushed patent application, it's really helpful to include multiple embodiments, variations on the invention, and lots of detail so that we can modify the claims a bit if we need to, giving ourselves a little bit of wiggle room to change the claims to avoid any later discovered prior art. A third reason to potentially skip the patent search before filing your company's patent applications is that you may already know the technology really well. You may be so deeply embedded in the technology of your industry that you already know what competitors are working on and what the current advancements in the state of the art are for your particular technology area. Because the Patent Office searches patents and identifies patents in your space, with each patent application that you submit, you'll be exposed to a greater population of the available patents in your space. At some point, you'll have seen so many of the available patents that a patent search is no longer really worthwhile. To this point, we've been talking about novelty searches. That is, searching patents with respect to a specific invention to determine whether the invention is new. We may also be using novelty searches just to learn about a particular space, to gain some experience and expertise in what others have been doing to solve similar problems to those that we're working on. These novelty searches can teach us about where the industry is going, what the state of the art is, and maybe help inform some design decisions that we make in our own product development. Novelty searches are fairly benign. They can't hurt us too badly as they're primarily informative. This next type of search, however, can be truly dangerous to your company. At minimum, they're distracting, and at worst, if you're in the process of raising funds when you have one of these searches performed, it can almost destroy your company. These searches can be truly toxic. I'm talking about freedom to operate searches. These searches answer the question, if we build a product, will we be infringing someone else's patent or someone else's intellectual property? And the reason that these searches are so dangerous is that with several million active patents in the Patent Office, the answer to that question of are we infringing is unpredictably often yes, and too frequently at least a maybe. Patents are complicated to understand, they're complicated to interpret, and their claims are very difficult often to construe. When there is a patent infringement lawsuit brought, these lawsuits usually involve armies of lawyers and experts and judges who are not infrequently overturned by other judges who have different views on what the patents really mean. So where novelty searches look at the question of whether the invention is new, freedom to operate searches explore the question of is the product infringing someone else's patent? So there are two circumstances in which freedom to operate searches often come up or get suggested. The first circumstance is after you're in production, you're producing a product, you're in manufacturing, and somebody, maybe a well-meaning board member, asks if you've ever had a freedom to operate search performed on the product. Now, usually, these officious intermeddlers, these people who make suggestions trying to be helpful, they mean well, but don't fall for it. This is just a headache waiting to happen. What if you do find something? What are you going to do? Shut down the production line? If you find a patent that you know you're infringing and you continue to infringe, then you're a willful infringer. And if you do get caught and you do get sued, you're subject to up to treble damages for having been previously knowledgeable and willful about the infringement. If you are manufacturing a product and you are infringing someone else's patent, which by the way, if it's a complex product, you probably are infringing someone else's patents, then what you really prefer is just to not know about the infringement. Trust me that being of empty head and pure heart with respect to patent infringement will just help you sleep so much better at night. The second circumstance where a freedom to operate search often is suggested is during a financing. Now, this might be the worst possible time to get a freedom to operate search commissioned. Often an investor will come to you and say, do you have a freedom to operate search that we could look at? And if you don't have a freedom to operate search and opinion sitting in your file, the investors will inevitably ask, well, could you get a freedom to operate search performed so that we might see whether you're infringing someone else's patents? Now, while on the surface, this might seem like a reasonable due diligence request being made by an investor or an acquirer, it's critical to realize that this could be a ticking time bomb that could blow up your valuation and also the potential for future investments. If an investor wants to have a freedom to operate search performed, they should perform the search themselves. They should commission the search. And whatever they find, it's important that they not share it with the company. Based on the results of that freedom to operate search, the investors may decide to invest or not. But you don't want a copy of that freedom to operate search sitting in your files, as you'll be required to disclose that search to potential future investors in later rounds. If you're an investor, you should treat that freedom to operate search that you've commissioned as your own trade secret, as information that you have that other investors don't have access to. And on the company side, the reality is, even if you do have a clean freedom to operate search available to you sitting in your files, most thorough investors are going to have their patent counsel update and augment that freedom to operate search anyway. So even if it's a clean search, it's going to be treated with skepticism by the investors. And if the search has problems, it's going to be derogatory to the valuation of your company. It's better just not to have the search. Okay, that's really all I have to say today about patent searches. If your company needs help with its patents or its patent strategy or its patent searches, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at the email address below. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.